Welcome to Fragile Bonds, to powerful stories of family, love, loss, and the choices that shape our lives. Now let's begin today's story.
My name is Jennifer. Every day has been happy since I married Mark 7 years ago. Mark works as a sales manager at a pharmaceutical company. His job keeps him busy, but he's a kind husband who always puts our family first. Our 5-year-old daughter Lily is a bright and cheerful child. She was our treasure. I'm 8 months pregnant now, carrying a baby boy. Lily is so excited about having a little brother that she talks to my belly every night. I used to work as a nurse, but after Lily was born, I became a stay-at-home mom to take care of our family. I never regretted this choice. Time spent with my loving family was the most precious thing to me. On weekends, Mark always makes time for us. We go on picnics in the park, see movies, and do anything that makes Lily happy. Mark carries Lily on his shoulders while walking and always looks after me. He's been especially gentle since my belly grew bigger with this pregnancy. He absolutely won't let me carry anything heavy. However, since around 5 months into my pregnancy, my health hasn't been good. I frequently feel dizzy and keep experiencing nausea. Sometimes I'm hit with terrible headaches. I consulted with my regular OB/GYN, but the doctor said there were no particular abnormalities. Mark comforted me, saying it couldn't be helped since I was pregnant. I blamed myself, thinking it was because my body was weak. Mark supported me through all of this. Every morning, he prepares supplements for me and hands them to me with a smile, saying, "Take these and feel better." He's been cooking meals more often too. Seeing him standing in the kitchen, telling me, "You rest, I'll handle this," I truly felt grateful to have such a kind husband. But lately, something's been bothering me. Mark has been secretly making phone calls in the middle of the night. I can hear him leave the bedroom and talk to someone in the living room. When I ask about it in the morning, wondering if it was a work call, he casually answers, "Yeah, a client." His weekend trips to the office have also increased. He says he's just going to pick up some documents, but sometimes he's gone for about 2 hours. One day, Lily whispered softly, "Daddy's always talking to someone." I stroked Lily's head and explained, "Daddy's busy with work." Lily just nodded silently, but she looked somewhat anxious. I didn't think too deeply about it. Mark is such a responsible person, he must be handling a big project. He's working hard for our family. That's what I told myself. The baby in my belly was moving energetically. Just a little longer until we meet. Lily, me, and Mark, we're all looking forward to having one more person join our family. That's what I believed. We were the perfect family, and I thought this happiness would continue forever. At that moment, I didn't know anything yet. I didn't know how fragile and fleeting this happiness was. There were still 2 weeks until my due date. But that morning, I woke up to sudden pain. My belly was aching regularly. This is labor. From my experience working as a nurse, I knew immediately. "Mark, it hurts. The baby's coming." I shook my husband awake. Mark jumped up, looking surprised, but quickly composed himself. "It's okay, we'll go to the hospital right away." He squeezed my hand as he said this. But Mark didn't move. "Wait a minute, I need to get ready," he said and left the bedroom. I waited on the bed, enduring the pain. 20 minutes passed. The contractions kept getting closer together. "Mark, hurry." I squeezed out the words, but there was no response. I hear sounds from the living room. What is Mark doing? My head can't think straight from the pain. I just wanted to get to the hospital quickly. After more than 30 minutes had passed, Mark finally came back. "Sorry, I was looking for the insurance card." That's what Mark said, but I couldn't think about anything through the pain. On the drive to the hospital, the pain grew even more intense. Mark's driving seemed slower than usual. "Please, hurry," I said, but Mark replied, "We have to drive safely." I stared out the window, praying we'd get to the hospital soon. When we finally arrived at the hospital, I couldn't stand anymore. Leaning on Mark for support, I headed to the maternity ward reception. The nurses hurriedly brought a wheelchair. I was immediately taken to the examination room. The moment the doctor performed the ultrasound, his expression froze. The baby's heartbeat is very weak. Prepare for an emergency C-section immediately. The doctor's voice sounded distant. I couldn't understand what was happening. Wait, what do you mean? Doctor, is the baby okay? I asked desperately, but the doctor didn't answer and kept giving instructions. Nurses ran around. The operating room is ready, someone shouted. I was placed on the operating table. While they were preparing the anesthesia, Mark came into the operating room. Hang in there. That's what Mark said, but there was no warmth in his voice. It had a cold ring to it, as if this didn't concern him. But I was in too much pain and fear to notice such things. The surgery began. I couldn't feel my lower body from the anesthesia, but I could sense the doctor's tense atmosphere. Please, baby, please be safe. I kept praying in my heart. This is the little brother Lily's been looking forward to. This is the baby we've been waiting for. Only the sound of the clock in the operating room seemed unusually loud. Time felt like it had stopped. How long has it been? The doctor's movements stopped. Then the doctor turned toward me. The moment I saw his face, I understood everything. I'm so sorry. The doctor's voice was trembling. The baby didn't make it. The moment those words entered my ears, the world lost all sound. No, you're lying. I said in a voice that wasn't a voice. Doctor, please check again. Please. The doctor bowed deeply. The cause is unknown, but the fetus rapidly weakened. We did everything we could. Even hearing those words, I couldn't accept it as reality. It's my fault. Because my body was weak. If only I'd noticed sooner. If only I'd taken better care of my health. Words of self-blame poured out. The tears wouldn't stop. The small life that had been moving inside me. I'll never meet him again. After the surgery, I was taken to a hospital room. Mark rushed in right away. It's not your fault, don't worry about it. Mark held me and said that. But there was no warmth in his arms. His words were mechanical too, as if he were reading from a script. I didn't notice. Or maybe I didn't want to notice. I was blinded by grief. I'm going outside for a bit, Mark said and left the room. Wait, don't leave me alone. I wanted to say that, but no voice came out. Left alone in the hospital room, I just kept crying. It was sunny outside the window. Even though I'm this sad, the world keeps moving as if nothing happened. People are laughing, cars are driving, birds are singing. But my world had stopped. Why? Why my baby? What went wrong? What should I have done? Questions with no answers kept spinning around in my head. What am I going to tell Lily? Mommy and Daddy couldn't give you a little brother. The pillow gets soaked with tears. All the strength drains from my body. I don't understand the meaning of being alive anymore. If it's going to be this painful, maybe it would be better to. The moment that thought crossed my mind, the hospital room door slowly opened. When I looked up, there was a small shadow. It was Lily. My daughter was looking at me. Mommy. I heard a small voice. Lily, you came. I reached out toward my daughter. Lily slowly approached my bed. Her eyes were filled with tears. But I could also sense some kind of determination and strength. It was a serious expression that a 5-year-old child shouldn't have to show. Mommy. Lily said in a trembling voice. Do you want to know why the baby died? At those words, I caught my breath. Wait, Lily, what are you saying? My daughter pulled out a small iPad. Look at this. Lily said that and turned the screen toward me. What was shown there was an unbelievable scene. Mark was mixing something into my supplements. My world collapsed once again. What is this? Lily, what is this? My voice cracked. My daughter operated the screen with her small fingers. The next video played. It was Mark again. In the kitchen, opening the bottle of my supplements. After checking his surroundings, he takes out a small bag from his pocket. Something that looks like white powder, which he mixes into the capsules. Carefully, cautiously. With movements as if he'd practiced many times. Looking at the date, it was 3 months ago. It perfectly matched the time when my health started declining. No, that's wrong. This must be a coincidence. There must be some explanation. I desperately tried to deny it. But deep inside, I was beginning to understand the truth. Lily keeps switching screens. Many photos are saved. Pictures of Mark talking on the phone in the living room late at night. Photos of him meeting with an unknown woman on a street corner. That woman was wearing this hospital's nurse uniform. The two of them were smiling, talking intimately. And then an audio file. Lily pressed the play button. Mark's voice flows out. It won't be long now. Everything's going according to plan. A woman's voice answers. Are you sure it's okay? We won't get caught. Mark says, it's fine, it's perfect. Once the insurance money comes in, we'll be free. Insurance money. Those words echo over and over in my head. I had a high-value life insurance policy. Mark had suggested it 2 years ago. He said it was for the family, in case something happened, and I signed without any suspicion. The audio continues. The woman's voice. But what if the baby is born? Mark answers coldly. We won't let it be born. If I keep giving her the drugs, she'll miscarry naturally. Then Jennifer will be emotionally devastated. After that, I'll give her a large dose of sleeping pills and make it look like suicide from postpartum depression. Perfect plan, right? I can hear the woman laughing. You're so clever, Mark. $10 million. A new life awaits us. Their laughter stabs my ears. The strength drains from my hand holding the iPad. I can't believe it. I don't want to believe it. But the evidence is right in front of me. Mark was trying to kill me. He was trying to kill our baby. And he was going to make it all look like an accident or suicide and collect the insurance money. Lily. I called my daughter's name in a trembling voice. How did you? When did you? Tears spilled from Lily's eyes. Daddy was sneaking around at night doing things. I saw him. I thought he was doing something weird, hiding it from Mommy. So Lily started taking pictures with her toy iPad, she says. At first she didn't understand what he was doing, but when she heard the recorded conversation, she realized Daddy was trying to hurt Mommy. I was scared. But I thought I had to protect Mommy. My 5-year-old daughter had faced such a terrifying truth all alone. How frightened she must have been. How anxious she must have felt. I hugged Lily tightly. I'm sorry, Lily. Mommy didn't notice. Thank you. Thank you for being here. My daughter's small body is trembling in my arms. Mommy, I was scared. I was scared of Daddy. But I wanted to help Mommy. At Lily's words, tears overflowed and wouldn't stop. This child had been fighting to protect me. In my head, past events start connecting. The frequent health problems. The reason the doctor said there was nothing wrong. The supplements Mark prepared for me. The murderous intent hidden behind his gentle smile. The phone calls in the middle of the night. The weekend outings. Everything had been part of the plan. Being made to wait more than 30 minutes before going to the hospital was also on purpose. To make the baby's condition worse. The slow driving was also to buy time. My baby was killed by Mark. Anger wells up inside me. Sadness transforms into hatred. But at the same time, I feel fear. What if Mark comes back now? What if the next plan is carried out? Made to look like suicide from postpartum depression, I'll be killed. Lily, press the call button. I said to my daughter. Lily immediately pressed the button next to the bed. Seconds later, a nurse came in. Is something wrong? Call the police. Right now. I said desperately. The nurse looked at me with a surprised expression. Please calm down. What happened? My husband is trying to kill me. My voice was shaking, but I stated it clearly. I have evidence. Please look at this. I handed the iPad to the nurse. The nurse looked at the screen, and her face changed color. She played the video, listened to the audio, and checked the photos. Her expression changed from shock to horror. I'll contact the police immediately. The nurse said that and hurried out of the room. Lily squeezes my hand. Mommy, it's okay. You don't have to be scared anymore. I'll protect Mommy. At my 5-year-old daughter's incredibly strong words, tears overflowed again. But this time, it wasn't just sadness. I was feeling hope too. 10 minutes later, 2 police officers entered the hospital room. I explained everything. That Mark had been mixing drugs into my supplements. That he was after the insurance money. That he was conspiring with his lover, a nurse. And that there was a plan to make my death look like suicide. The police officers reviewed the evidence on the iPad and nodded with serious expressions. We'll secure your husband immediately. Then we'll also identify the nurse we believe to be his accomplice. Please rest assured. Everything will be okay now. But I couldn't feel reassured. Where is Mark right now? Isn't he trying to carry out the next plan? One of the officers radioed in and then left the room. All I could do was hold Lily and wait. Time felt eternal. Lily said in a small voice, Mommy, Daddy can't hurt you anymore, right? That's right, Lily. It's okay now. We're safe. I answered that way, but my heart kept pounding violently. The pain of being betrayed by someone I trusted. The sadness over the baby I lost. And gratitude for the courage my daughter showed me. Everything mixed together, and my chest felt like it would burst. Before long, I heard voices from the hallway. Don't move, put your hands up. The police voice. And then Mark's surprised voice. What are you doing? I haven't done anything. Liar. I screamed in my heart. You tried to take everything. My life, the baby's life, our future. But Lily protected me. My 5-year-old daughter saved me. That was the truth. The police officer returned to the hospital room 30 minutes later. We've secured the suspect. Hearing those words, I finally felt like I could breathe a little. But I still couldn't believe it. Was Mark really arrested? Are we really safe? The officer sat down in a chair and opened a notebook. I'd like to hear the details, if that's all right. I nodded. Lily was on my lap, staring intently at the officer. I told them everything. That I'd lived a happy life for 7 years since marrying Mark. That I suddenly started feeling ill around 5 months into my pregnancy. That Mark had been preparing supplements for me every morning. And about the evidence Lily showed me today. The officer listened with a serious expression. Actually, when we apprehended your husband, he was with the accomplice nurse. They were in the hallway on the 3rd floor, discussing how to dispose of you next. Those words sent a chill down my spine. The officer continued. We recorded the conversation. Your husband was saying he'd soon make Jennifer's death look like postpartum depression. The plan was to make it look like suicide by giving you a large dose of sleeping pills. The nurse was set to prepare the drugs. My body trembles. If Lily hadn't noticed. If she hadn't gathered evidence. I might have been killed by now. No, I surely would have been killed. The police began investigating immediately, the officer says while operating the iPad. This data is extremely important evidence. The dates and times your daughter recorded are all documented. And we also confiscated your husband's cell phone. Apparently, there was even more evidence on the cell phone. Message exchanges between Mark and his lover, the nurse Amber. The two had been involved for 2 years. And from around that time, they'd started planning to kill me. The first plan was to make it look like an accidental death, the officer explained. There are traces that they attempted methods like pushing you down the stairs or tampering with the car brakes. But all of them apparently failed. I trace back through my memories. Come to think of it, about 6 months ago, I almost slipped on the stairs. At that time, Mark was right behind me. Could that have been? And 3 months ago, when the car brakes weren't working well and I took it in for repairs. Was that all Mark's doing too? The next plan used drugs, the officer continued. Gradually administering harmful substances to you while you were pregnant. Causing a miscarriage to mentally break you down, and ultimately killing you disguised as suicide. It's an extremely calculated and malicious crime. I thought about my baby and tears overflowed again. My son was killed by Mark. Poisoned, weakening little by little. And today, Mark deliberately delayed going to the hospital. So the baby wouldn't survive. The insurance amount is $10 million, the officer said. Your husband took out a high-value life insurance policy on you 2 years ago. Your husband is the beneficiary. And the contract is set up so that the mortgage will be paid off in the event of your death. $10 million. For that amount, Mark tried to kill me and the baby. What was our 7-year marriage? Was his love for me all a lie? Or did it change at some point? We also investigated the accomplice, Nurse Amber. The officer opens a file. She's 28 years old and has worked at this hospital for 3 years. She apparently met your husband at a pharmaceutical exhibition at the hospital. Your husband, a pharmaceutical sales rep, and she, a nurse, combined their knowledge of drugs to plan a perfect crime. Apparently after their arrest, the two blamed each other in the interrogation room. Mark shouted at Amber, "It was all your idea." Amber shot back, "You're the one who said you wanted the insurance money." It was apparently an ugly fight. The two people who were supposed to be in love betrayed each other as soon as they were caught. Imagining that scene, I thought it was pathetic. At the same time, I felt relieved. People like this could never understand true love. The officer stood up. Your husband will be charged with attempted murder, insurance fraud, and drug tampering. Nurse Amber will also be charged as an accomplice. Neither of them will likely be granted bail. We'll protect you and your daughter's safety. Thank you. I bowed deeply. Then I stroked Lily's head. If it weren't for this child, I wouldn't be here right now. The officer looked at Lily with kind eyes. Your daughter is truly brave. To be able to do all this at 5 years old is remarkable. Lily looked down shyly but smiled a little. That night, I thought about many things alone in my hospital room. Lily had been taken home by her grandmother. Mark is in a holding cell. Amber is in a separate holding cell too. The two people who tried to kill me and my baby can no longer get near me. But what's lost won't come back. My baby will never come back. The husband I trusted was actually a murderer. The marriage I thought was happy was all an illusion. Outside the window, it was pitch dark. Only the city lights could be seen in the distance. I placed my hand on my belly. It still hurts a little. The C-section scar. And this scar is also the wound in my heart. I'm sorry, I whispered softly. Mommy didn't notice. I couldn't protect you. But your big sister Lily protected Mommy. Your big sister is such a brave and strong child. Tears streamed down my cheeks. But this time, it wasn't just despair. I also felt gratitude toward Lily and determination to keep living. I didn't die. Lily saved me. So I have to live for this child. I have to become strong. The next day, a prosecutor visited the hospital. I received a detailed interview and explanation about the upcoming trial. Mark and Amber would each face serious charges. There's plenty of evidence. With the evidence Lily collected and the additional evidence secured by the police, a guilty verdict is certain, they said. We'll need you to testify at the trial, the prosecutor said. It will be difficult, but can we ask for your cooperation? I nodded firmly. Of course. I want the truth to be revealed. And I want to make sure this never happens again. The prosecutor smiled gently. You're a strong person. And so is your daughter. This case will surely give courage to many people. That even when betrayed by someone you trusted, you can stand up again. That a family's love conquers any evil. Hearing those words, I was able to smile a little for the first time. That's right. I have Lily. I have real family. With just that, I can fight. I can live. The trial of Mark and Amber continued for 4 months. Mark received a sentence of 25 years in prison for attempted murder, insurance fraud, and drug tampering. Amber got 15 years for conspiracy. They both appealed, but the evidence was too clear, and the appeals were dismissed. When I last saw Mark in court, he looked like a different person. He was gaunt, and there was no light in his eyes. Just once, our eyes met. Mark looked like he wanted to say something, but in the end, he said nothing and looked away. I felt nothing. No hatred, no sadness remained anymore. I just quietly accepted that this person had disappeared from my life. Our 7-year marriage was over. But my life continues. After the verdict was finalized, Lily and I moved to a new home. It's a small apartment, but it gets good sunlight and is close to a park. Lily quickly adapted to the new environment and made friends at school. I returned to nursing work. The field after 7 years was challenging, but I find it rewarding. When I see the patient's smiles, I feel alive too. My colleagues are also kind, and even knowing my past, they warmly support me. At night, the time Lily and I spend eating dinner together is my greatest happiness. Mommy, today at school, I did a drawing. Lily talks excitedly. Look, Mommy and Lily are holding hands. The picture she showed me had 2 smiling figures drawn on it. That's so lovely, Lily. I hugged my daughter. Because this child is here, I can move forward. To protect this child, I have to be strong. One night, Lily suddenly asked, Mommy, is the baby happy in heaven? I looked up at the starry sky outside the window. I'm sure he's happy. And I think he's always watching over us. Lily thought for a moment and then said, I wonder if the baby is happy that I protected Mommy. Of course he is. I gently stroked my daughter's head. Because you were brave, Mommy is here now. The baby must be proud of his big sister too. Lily smiled happily. Mommy, I'll always protect you. At those words, I felt tears coming again. But this time, they weren't tears of sadness. Thank you, Lily. But from now on, it's Mommy's turn to protect you. Let's be happy together, the 2 of us. I said that and hugged my daughter tightly. A year passed. Life for Lily and me had become peaceful and warm. I hardly think about Mark anymore. Sometimes I remember the baby who died and feel sad, but that too is gradually healing. On the weekend, we had a picnic in the park. Watching Lily run around on the grass, I thought, family isn't just about blood ties. Protecting each other, supporting each other, loving each other. That's what real family is. Mark was my husband, but he wasn't real family. But Lily is different. This child risked her life to protect me. In her small 5-year-old body, she faced a terrifying truth and had the courage to take action. "Mommy, look, look." Lily picked some flowers. "They're beautiful." I accepted the flowers and kissed my daughter's cheek. "Thank you, Lily. You're my treasure." The sun gently shines on us. The breeze blows pleasantly. Lily's laughter echoes in the sky. I took a deep breath. This is my new life. A life full of hope, walking together with this child. I was betrayed by someone I trusted. I lost my precious baby. But I survived. Lily saved me. And now, we're happy. That was enough. At dusk, on the way home, Lily held my hand. "Mommy, I love you." "I love you too, Lily." We walked hand in hand. No matter what difficulties we face, if I'm with this child, we can overcome them. The bond between mother and daughter won't lose to any evil. Because we are real family. When I looked up at the sky, the first star was shining. Surely that's the baby watching over us from heaven. I believed that and spoke in my heart. Thank you. Your big sister is truly a wonderful child. And Mommy is okay now. So rest easy and be happy in heaven. Until we meet again someday. Lily and I kept walking home. Tomorrow, the day after, and from now on forever. Supporting each other, living with smiles. That was the path we chose.